what are the kids picking up about shame, and in the story of Moses about his shame, and maybe what have you seen in their lives about how they're portraying shame or how they're feeling about it?
Sure. So my two girls are the most opposite human beings that could ever come from the same gene pool. Like even visually, people ask if they're adopted, like because they just look nothing alike, they act nothing alike. What's interesting about their personalities though is like they both struggle with shame. I think it's just like an inherent part of the
Yeah.
brokenness of the world being a fallen place. But they definitely present it in different ways. My oldest, she just takes all the shame, she shoves it deep down and acts like she has it all together, similar to the way that I did. And my second one is very vocal with her shame. And she's like, I'm the worst person in the whole world. God's never going to love me. I'm terrible. I'm horrible. I made a mistake and now I'm bad. And it's really interesting to try to parent both kinds of people, especially when you overly relate to one. And so you're trying to focus really, really hard on making sure they don't end up like you.
Yeah, that they don't do the same things. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other one, you're just like, why would you say these things? Why would you say these things about yourself? If some other kid was saying these things about you, I'd be like, you're not allowed to be friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
You have to be careful about the words that you tell yourself because that's the voice that you hear perpetually. So I think something that they've learned in the story, specifically A Thick Whisper of Grace, is just a general theme of my parenting that I've tried to incorporate is you don't have to be good enough for God. God was good enough for you. And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't communicating like antinomian theology, where like then they're like, oh great, so now I can do whatever I want to do. So that was one of my reasons for putting the discussion questions in at the end, just so that you can kind of like process and talk through God's unconditional love being such a huge blessing and such a wonderful gift, while at the same time like saying like this is how it should change your life.
Yeah. We know a kid who would do the same, of like run away and feel outwardly so much shame, and it's like no one is saying that about you, but like how you're feeling, like no one has ever said those things about them, but it's like how you, like you said, how you talk about yourself is like how you start to view yourself and your inner voice for the rest of your life. Our son is only 3, and so he's not quite dealing with like a full feelings of shame yet, but it's like starting. He's very empathetic to feelings in the room of like what other people are feeling. And so he's really in a phase of asking what we're feeling like every 5 minutes. So I'll be like, Mom, are you sad? Mama, are you angry? Mom, are you happy? Until he gets to the right one. And he's like, oh yeah, she said yes. And it was just yesterday. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago? We just had a little bit of a rough morning, a toddler morning, and I was putting him down for his nap. And so he said, Mama, are you sad? And I said, no, I'm not sad. And he said, Mom, are you frustrated? And I said, yeah, I'm kind of frustrated. It's just been like a hard morning. He said, are you a little bit angry too? And I said, yeah, I am a little bit angry because it's just, we're having a hard time communicating this morning. He goes, aw, I'm sorry, Mama. Because he's just starting to realize like, oh, the things that I was doing today were not making someone else happy. So it's not quite shame, but it's like inching there of feeling like, oh, I did something I shouldn't have done. And it made someone else feel bad, or it affected somebody else in my life, and it's not just about me. So it's going to be interesting to like walk through shame with him, and I'm looking forward to being able to talk with him about that.
Yeah, I think he's becoming aware that like the things that he does affects people. But he doesn't want, and this is probably again kind of like probably where the shame comes out, he doesn't want people to feel bad,